I'm going to let the people out there, if you're not familiar with Wavy Gravy and who he is, just a little bit about who he is and what he does. He is an American entertainer and mainly an activist for peace. He's best known for his appearance, his countercultural beliefs, but his appearance at Woodstock is pretty well known. He's the guy who said, "What we have in mind is breakfast in bed for 400,000." Pretty famous line if you've ever seen the Woodstock movie. But yeah, he is known for his political activism, was frequently arrested for that, demonstrations and things like that back in the 60s. He started dressing as a clown, basically to get arrested less. I think it might have worked. But Wavy's just a cultural icon. He founded or co-founded several organizations, including his awesome Camp Win a Rainbow, which we're going to talk to him a little bit about tonight, and the Seva Foundation, and the famous Hog Farm, which was an activist commune that he created. They were like part of the whole Grateful Dead thing, went to all the Dead shows and made appearances there, set up tents for bad acid trips and, and stuff like that. He's just an all-around good guy, and I think we actually have Wavy on the phone with us right now.
We do. Wavy Gravy, how are you?
You have gravy in your ear, perhaps a Q-tip.
Gravy in my ear. Wow. Thank you for joining us. I know you said you had a long interview today with some Grateful Dead folks.
No, that was yesterday, but it seems like it was almost yesterday. My chromosomes have amnesia.
How are you feeling these days, Wavy, besides busy?
In 19 years, I'll be 100.
Well, Sister Tracy's sitting next to me, and she thinks that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I can still fog a mirror for an old guy. I used to do stand-up. Now I do sit down. But I still put on concerts, and I do Camp Win a Rainbow, which is a circus and performing arts camp that I've helped run for 43 years. We do 9 weeks for kids and 1 week for grown-ups. It's never too late to have a happy childhood.
Yeah, I was just talking about Camp Win a Rainbow right before we got on the phone with you. And it's an awesome thing that you do, and I didn't realize it had been going on for that long. That's awesome. Where is that located at exactly, Camp Win a Rainbow? When does it take place?
It takes place in the summertime on our ranch in Northern California, 3 hours north of the Bay Area, the sleepy little town of Laytonville. We have 700 acres spread there, of which camp occupies about 13 acres. We do it in a circle of 17 teepees. We have a stage with lots of sound equipment that we got from the Grateful Dead and lighting equipment. It's a professional stage that kids get to be sucked up in the tornado of talent. And we have a 3-acre lake called Lake Veronica with a 350-foot water slide going into the lake.
Oh, wow.
That we got from Tiger Mountain Rapids. It was called, when it was by Vallejo in African Marine World, moved, and we got the water slide.
That's really cool.
Gosh, it sounds like something I would enjoy. Camp Win a Rainbow sounds awesome.
The kids love to hear their parents scream when they go down the water slide on the day that they come to pick up the camp. We do 4 2-week sessions, and at the end of every session, the kids put on a show for the grown-ups, their parents, and their friends of their parents, and et cetera. And then they get to send their parents down the water slide and listen to them scream.
That's awesome. So I'm sure if people want to know more about Camp Win a Rainbow, they can go on the internet and Google Camp Win a Rainbow, and I think some information comes up.
.net. Winna Rainbow, WINNA rainbow.net, and there it'll be 43 years. And the two things that I've done with my life are the Seva Foundation.
That was my
and
next
Winna
question.
Rainbow.
Yeah, we'd like to talk more about Seva.
5 million people are not bumping into stuff anymore because of Seva. We work in curable and preventable blindness. 80% of the people in the world that are blind do not need to be blind and can get their sight back with a simple cataract surgery. Takes about 15 minutes, and bam, you can see again. It's a miracle.
And you've done that that's been all over the world, right? Seva, you go to all kinds of different countries.
Yes, we started just in India and Nepal, but now we're all over the world. It was quite amusing after we all got together. A lot of the health workers who worked on the eradication of smallpox, along with Ram Dass and the manager of the Grateful Dead, and it was my task after we formed Seva to take on curable blindness to try and get the Grateful Dead to do a benefit. And I thought, but I go to the airport, and who was on the airplane that I'm flying back to the Bay Area with but the Grateful Dead, and they didn't have parachutes. So I started on the drummers, and Jerry, of course, always agrees to do good stuff, and by the time I got off the airplane, I had the Grateful Dead playing a concert. It was at the, where was it? At the Kaiser Auditorium, and Bill Graham was putting on the show, and he didn't know it was a benefit. Why am I the last to find out these things? God damn it.
I can hear Bill Graham saying that for sure.
So during the show, I'm sitting with Steve Parrish in an altered state, and who should show up but Bill, who hands me a piece of paper, and I open it up, and it's a check for Seva for $10,000. I said, Bill, why are you doing this? Because you did not hit on me, my friend.
That's great. Oh, Bill. So,
Yeah, I miss him.
since we were speaking about Ram Dass, we actually love Ram Dass, and we go over to Maui to try to see him a couple times a year. Do you see Ram Dass often, Wavy?
Just when I occasionally go to Maui, it's not something I frequently do, but we just did a concert honoring Ram Dass a year or so ago in Maui at the Maui Arts Center with Jackson Brown, Joan Baez, and Krishna Das.
Yeah, we sure wish we would not have missed that one.
That was a sold-out show, and it was done honoring Ram Dass, and it was so sweet. You know, they take him every week to the ocean, and they have a special wheelchair that goes out onto the sand and out into the water. And once he can float, he can swim. So he swims out several hundred feet to this buoy, and he swims around the buoy going, oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You know, we have actually been fortunate enough to actually go out on the swim with Ram Dass.
Oh, swell.
Yeah, it really was an amazing experience, and the oh boy, oh boy, oh boy was my favorite part.
You know, we played back in the day when Camp Winter Rainbow first started. We used to do shows at the Mendocino Woodlands, and then we would go to the San Cristo Mountains in New Mexico and the Lama Foundation, which is where that famous book of Ram Dass was produced.
Be Here Now.
Yes, the legendary Be Here Now.
Which is just showed up in probably its 200th reprint.
Maharaji.
And Ramdas has just finished writing a book with Mirabai Bush. He's done that before with her. And this one is, I think it's called Down the Road. It's about working with death and dying. Death is Patrick Henry's second choice.
Yeah, his last book was Polishing the Mirror, was pretty good.
What?
Yeah, his last book, Polishing the Mirror, was pretty good. We always try to check out Ram Dass's new, whenever he puts something new out, we always try to support that. And, he has a lot of wisdom, that guy.
Yeah, well, I think it's appropriate that he takes on the ultimate mystery and with Mirabai, and I got to write a blurb for the book, so I got to read it.
Nice.
Oh, lucky
And
you.
I crack him up. I said, this guy goes up to the Zen master, says, what happens when I die? The guy says, how do I know? He said, come on, you're a Zen master. Yeah, but not a dead one.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, there's a quote about a Ram Dass that is about you. I'm sure it's on your site. So everything that Wavy says is true, although it's all unbelievable.
Yes, it's also in the movie, I think.
Yeah, is it? In the movie?
Saint Misbehavin'.
Yes, great movie. We've seen it a couple of times.
And then Fierce Grace, of course.
So
that movie has traveled all over the world. It's amazing how and on PBS. And she's doing a new movie about a Saturday Night Live player whose name escapes me.
Interesting.
Michelle Ezrick was her name.
Since we were
wonderful woman.
Since we were speaking about death, I just wonder if you have a few thoughts on this current crazy world we're living in and all the gun controversy.
Men are not killed by guns necessarily. They're killed by other men and also bullets, but it's all the same thing. I mean, eternity now. Wish.
yeah,
I wish that everybody would just melt them all down and go back to archery.
Me too. It's just crazy these days, man. But,
Kissing builds up your mouth. Much better way to settle disputes. You can have a kiss off.
So, Wavy, is it true that you were given your name by B.B. King?
Yeah, I was at the Texas Pop Festival after Woodstock. We returned to Llano, New Mexico, and it was inhabited by about 1,000 hippies that had read about us and gone to live in our little tiny 10-acre ranch in New Mexico, and there were these two beautiful buses there. And these are people that wanted to take us to Texas. They were having a rodeo and a rock concert at the same time, and there was some friction. So they wanted to bring us in to help dissipate this friction. And so we jumped on these buses, delighted to get away from our place, which is inhabited by people from North Beach and the West Village, and they should go back there and panhandle because there's no panhandling in New Mexico.
Ah.
But we lit out for Texas, and it was just amazing. After a while, the buses go by, and people would be waving and going nuts, and somebody threw a Time magazine through the window. And I read this editorial about how helpful we were at the Woodstock Festival. And we had no idea the magnitude of Texas, the first thing I did was go to the rodeo and get down with the cowboy clowns.
Okay, yeah, the guys who run around and try to distract the bull.
I maintain a clown as a poet who is also an orangutan, and we got into a delightfully altered state, and I told them our situation, and they saddled up a couple Plymouths and an Oldsmobile and buzzed me back to the site, and we went in and proceeded to change everything.
Nice.
And we built this beautiful, beautiful free stage. The main concert was in a speedway, maybe 10 miles away, and we were camped on the banks of Lake Dallas.
So that
Job's daughters wanted to call the National Guard because they couldn't handle the skinny dipping.
okay, yeah. I was wondering when you were going to get around to that part about you trying to get people to put their clothes on.
I did. I swam around going, oh, I knew if you want to say hi, you got to put your pants on. Until finally, we're on this outboard motor, and I said, well, Peter, it looks like we've done it. There's not a bare ass in sight when suddenly here comes this naked water skier. I said, follow him. And we chased him around the lake until we ran out of gas. And I staggered back to the stage, and I'm laying there, and the announcement comes over the stage. PA, BB King is here with his bus. He's going to play for free. Could we clear the stage, please? And I started to get up. There's nobody around there but me left. And I felt this hand on my shoulder. And I looked up, and there was BB King. And he looked down at me and said, you, Wavy Gravy. I said, yes, sir. Yeah, well, Wavy Gravy. I can work around you.
I can work around you.
He leaned me up against his amplifier, took out his guitar named Lucille, and from out of the wings came Johnny Winter, and the two of them jammed until sunrise, and it was everybody's reward for putting on their pants and picking up the trash, and a tiny tip of Texas went to heaven.
What a story, then. That's a pretty good reward for putting your clothes back on, is a show by Johnny Winter and BB King, I gotta say.
Love it. Love it. Wavy, thanks so much for always being so entertaining and for always wanting to be so, generous with your time and coming on the show a few times a year.
And for all the great things that you do with Seva and Camp Winter Rainbow and, with your art and everything. We appreciate you so much.
Well, I'm doing art on stumps now, sections of a tree where the bark becomes the frame of my art, and where the rings are, I do deep collage. It's kind of interesting. I'm very excited about doing that in my geezerhood. Thank God for something to do. Okay, kissing builds up your mouth once more, and I'll speak to you all in the future.
Thank you so much. We love you, man.
Love you, Wavy. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Take care.
Take care.
The great Wavy Gravy. I love that guy.
I do too. And the thing is, every time we have him on the show, we try to keep our interviews, right around a certain amount of time, but I could sit and talk to that guy for hours. He just has stories for miles. And I mean, you could say that about a lot of people, but people don't have the stories that Wavy does.
Yeah, and he told me earlier before the interview, off the air, he said that he had done a 4 to 5 hour interview yesterday, so he was very grateful that we just wanted maybe 15, 20 minutes of his time.
Yeah, and I think his voice was a little shot, so we didn't want to keep him on the phone forever, which we could have.
No, and he comes on the show a few times a year, so we'll get him back on in the spring.